Hey everyone, just want to do a quick video. I'm currently grading my first round of papers or first round of Google Earth exercises, and I'm noticing a lot of you have not converted your GPS coordinates into decimal degrees, and it asks you in the questions to please put these in decimal degrees. And I did go over this in one of the initial lecture videos or instructional videos on how to use Google Earth, but it was, of course, those were longer videos and you might not have caught that. So I just wanted to go in here real quick, and I'm going to do two things. One is I'm going to show you actually how to change that setting, and the other thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to explain to you why it's important. So first of all, um, how to change that setting. So if you look down at the bottom, as you all know already, most of you have done your Google Earth exercises and done them pretty well actually. As you move the cursor around the map, these coordinates down here move as far as where your cursor is. And if you want to lock in on something, you can create a spot there or pin it, or I'll go over that in the videos as well, and it kind of locks it in. But as you move around, you see these coordinates move. So those are your degrees. And there are several ways degrees can be quantified. Now, in today's world, pretty much all scientists and geographers use decimal degrees. And the reason for that is just easier. It's easier to write, it's easier to read, and you have to really put less effort into it because you have two readings. Of course, you have your latitude is first. It says LAT here. Longitude is the next. And when you write these, though, in text, you just separate these by a comma. You don't have to put the lat and the long. You just put the first number, which is the first number is always latitude, a comma, and then the second number is always the longitude. And that's all you have to put. One thing to keep in mind, of course, is if you've seen this in a video, negative signs also denote which hemisphere you're in. So, for instance, in the United States, we're always going to be in the positive latitude because we're in the northern hemisphere. Between north and south, we're in the northern. So that's always going to be positive. And in the United States, the continental United States, it's always going to be a negative longitude because the longitude, we're in the western hemisphere, and the western hemisphere is denoted by a negative sign. The eastern hemisphere would just be a positive sign. And we're going to do some in the other hemispheres in future chapters, but I just wanted to point those differences out to you now. So again, decimal degrees is going to be the number, the degrees, which is the first two or three numerals, and then you're going to have a decimal point, and then typically you're going to have 6 digits after that decimal point. So first, I'm going to show you how to change this. So the other readings that you might be seeing when you're doing this, if you're still in the default settings, is you're going to see the degrees will be the same. Like 37 degrees will be the same degrees as in other readings. However, you'll have something called minutes with an apostrophe, and seconds will be denoted by a quote sign, the two little apostrophes together. So that's degrees, minutes, and seconds. So all you have to do to change that is go up here to the tools selection at the top, and you're going to go down to options right here. And when you click options, it's going to open up this grid, and it's going to be the first one right here. You go down here and you see show lat long, and it's going to have several options here. Now, I already have mine in decimal degrees, so I'm going to go ahead and change it to something different right now. I'll go to degrees, minutes, and seconds. I'll hit apply, and then OK. And when I did that, if you go down here now, you can see, if you can see my screen, now it has 37 degrees, but it has minutes and seconds, and then it has N for the northern hemisphere after it. The longitude, you don't have to have the negative sign anymore because you have west after it, denoting it's the western hemisphere, minutes and seconds. So this is a less accurate reading as far as how we typically do it. Now you can get just as specific because you can see in the seconds over here it has point whatever. So you can get specific in this as well, but how you typically write this, it's typically not as precise as doing the decimal degrees. So we're going to go back up here to options once again, and I'm going to change it back 2 decimal degrees. Now there's another reading right here that says degrees decimal minutes. Don't use that one, just use the straight decimal degrees. Again, you have to hit apply and then OK, and you can see down here it's back into decimal degrees. So that's how you adjust that setting. Pretty simple. So I'm going to explain just a little bit though why we have decimal degrees and why we have up to 6 digits after this. A couple of you, and I've had several people in classes before, you want to round this number off. Everybody wants to round up, and they'll give me like 37 degrees 0.06 and stop right there. You can't really do that with GPS coordinates. You need to put all 6 digits after the decimal point in the reading. And the reason for that is the more each digit represents a higher degree of accuracy. So let's zoom in somewhere out here. And this is Mammoth Cave National Park, by the way. I just picked something close to home and a place that's kind of means something to me. Here's Cave City. We'll just go out here in the country somewhere. And let's zoom in to a building. Whatever this is. This looks like probably a power station. Kind of a big thing. So we'll zoom out on that a little bit. So that's some kind of power station or some kind of parking lot or something. So we can see it pretty easily right here. So when I have my cursor here, you look down at the GPS coordinate, which is down here, and if I put a pin right there and I don't move around, those 6 decimal points after, or digits after the decimal point, having 6 means we're within about 4 inches on the ground of where that really is. In other words, I can put into that coordinate, and it's going to take me on a map to within 6 inches of where we actually are on the ground, or 0.011 meters. I'm going to keep it in meters because that's how the chart that I have kind of shows this. Okay. For each numeral after the decimal point, it gets more accurate. So it goes the same in reverse. The less numerals, the less accurate. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to measure. Here's my measure tool, and I'm going to put a circle. And I'm going to measure the radius in meters. Okay? So I just changed this to I'm measuring a circle. And I'm going to measure it from this point that we described in meters because I'm getting to a point here. So let's go ahead and draw this. So I clicked on that, and as I move away, you see as I move away the radius is getting bigger. I'm out to 250 meters now from the center. So you can see that circle is measuring the area of that circle, but I don't really care about the area. I'm showing you something specifically here. So let's say we just put 5 decimal points. So that gets you within 1 meter. So we can go all the way down, and that's still a structure this big, you're still right on top. I mean, 1 meter is not going to make a difference. But let's say that we only put 3 decimal points. So now I'm going to go out to about 111, 112. So now if we only use 3 digits after the decimal point, that actual reading could be anywhere within that circle. So that tells you you're losing accuracy when you start putting less and less numerals after that decimal point. Now let me go up here, and I'm going to change this to kilometers because now we're going to start getting wider. Let me clear this out. Start over here. It's kind of, so now we're on kilometers. So I'm going to move this up. So let's click on that feature again, and let's go out to 1 kilometer, 1.1 kilometers. So we're about here. So now, if we only had 2 digits after the decimal point, like a lot of people like to round to, that GPS coordinate could be anywhere within this circle. So you can see we've lost a lot of accuracy here. We're a whole kilometer away, a little over a kilometer away from that point. Now it goes bigger exponentially, which means if we go to 1 decimal point, we're going to be all the way out at 11 kilometers. So we're going to be off this screen. Let's clear this off. Let's back out a little bit. Keep our point. So right here's our point. I'm going to show you 11 kilometers and still going to be off this screen. So this is just 7 kilometers or almost 9. The whole screen is about 9 kilometers. So if you only put 1 decimal digit after the decimal point, you can see how big of an area we're in now. So you've totally lost accuracy. You're going to be in probably South Central Kentucky, but you're not going to be very accurate on the point. So that's why we use the number of digits after the decimal point to be very specific about where we are. So again, I ask you to use 6 all the time. That's what it gives you by default on Google Earth. When you go down here, I'm going to go ahead and clear this out. And it always gives you the 6 digits down here on the readings. So that's just a really quick video I wanted to share with y'all to show you how to do that conversion and use the proper decimal degrees, and why we do use the 6 digits, the accuracy that gives us. So if any of y'all have any problems with this, reach out to me and let me know. We're going to keep using Google Earth throughout the semester. So if you don't get a handle on it now, you're going to be behind the whole semester on your assignments. So please, if you're having trouble, you're having technical issues, let me know and we can work something out. That's about it, I think, now. One other thing I do want to mention, I've had a few people do this, and I had a couple of students do this last semester, and kind of like I told you in the intro video, I can't always see exactly what you see doing your assignments because we kind of see Blackboard in a different way. I can go to the student view and see what you're seeing, but as far as you submitting things, I can't see that. And I've had just a few of you do your assignments, and it's obvious you've done them because it tells me you saved a draft, but you haven't actually submitted them. And I had a couple students last semester that did the same thing, and there was something that they were missing as far as actually submitting it. So make sure when you do your assignments, go ahead and get that submitted and not just saving a draft of it. So if you need any help with that, let me know, and I'll figure out what's going on. But thanks, and as always, reach out if you need anything.